Welcome back to Briggs on Books, a truly international talk show. We talk to authors, we talk to publishers, we talk to people who help you get your book published. There's so much that goes into it, getting these books out. One of our guests, our next guest, I don't want to call her our oldest guest, but longest enduring guest. She's been coming back into the 2000s, I think. Gail Daley. Welcome, Gail.
Hi. Thank you for having me on the show.
What amazes me is you keep cranking stuff out.
It's a lot of work. It's not as easy as it sounds.
And it's not just putting stuff out that you see in everyday life. This is a whole genre. What do you call it? Dystopian?
Dystopian post-apocalyptic, and I actually said that without stuttering.
Stuttering. Now, I want to get to the books. I'm going to just I think this is your most recent, if I'm not mistaken, The Portal Lawman.
Well, actually, this is the one that just came out. Portal
Okay.
Lawman was my first dystopian book.
Okay, let me get to that one. Now, the one that just came out is Cloned Ambition. We went
Yes.
through this before the show started, and you told me which one. But Cloned Ambition just came out.
Yes.
And now there's three. Let me put them all up. I had the one up that was your first, I think, The Portal Lawman.
Yeah.
And then the second is this one. All these covers are beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. I did them.
The Clone Initiative. And then the one that just came out is Cloned Ambition. Now, we know you as, of course, an author, but also as a fine artist. So when you say you did these covers, what do you mean?
Well, it's computer graphics.
Uh-huh.
I get the photos from a site called BookBrush,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually designed for authors to use to design their own covers.
Mm-hmm.
And they have pictures that when you pay your fee to BookBrush or your membership to BookBrush, it pays the fee to the photographers.
Mm-hmm.
So you have royalty rights for these.
Which one would you like to talk about first?
Well, as I said, they're interconnected, all three of them. The Portal Lawman is actually the first one in that genre that I wrote, and it takes place on Earth. And I used a lot of the things that were going on in the world to build my post-apocalyptic reason. I mean, of course I expanded it, and I had made it sound a lot worse than it was. We had volcanoes erupting. We had the plates moving, and we also had pandemics running rampant. And these, and of course, it did take place in a more advanced society than our own. In the midst of all this, they developed technology to go through subspace to worlds, so they didn't, kind of like the way they do it in Stargate is similar, but not quite the same. But they go through from Earth to these other worlds, and of course everybody wanted to get off Earth by that time.
Yep.
But not everybody could afford it.
Is there a main character, by the way?
The main character in Portal is a girl named Lacey Delaney, and she and her family have helped to run the illegal portal in a little small mountain town called Laughing Mountain for hundreds of years.
And this is probably what we would envision her as on the cover of the book?
Pretty much. She's short. She's got dishwater blonde hair. She's not especially. I try to, except for this one, I try to keep my characters from looking impossibly beautiful or impossibly whatever.
They're real people in a real universe.
Yes, and she doesn't have any special martial arts skills or anything else. Her boyfriend now ends up running the Blue Moon Militia, which actually it's a free militia group that protected the town and the people from the gang infiltrating and from the government coming in and doing awful things to them and stuff. And that was that in that particular book. There was a murder mystery sort of type thing. The second book, the Clone Initiative, the characters in it appear in in Portal Lawman.
Okay.
The main character and two characters in this one are a girl who's one of three triplets named Tally Higgins, and the guy that she ends up with actually came back from one of the other illegal colonies to claim his uncle's estate because his uncle, they disappeared. He and his sisters had disappeared, and he was looking for them, and they didn't. And the town did not want his estate going up for auction because he might have notes about them in it. So they brought him back to do that. And they, while he was here, they rescued the main character in this particular book.
The third one.
The third one.
Cloned Ambition.
And she is a clone. Her name is Scarlett Jones, which she did herself. She was actually created using an aging actress's DNA, because the actress intended, when Scarlett was about 20, to put her brain in Scarlett's body, and they were just going to medical waste. So the clones really have a sad position in that particular society. And although it's supposed to be illegal to create human clones, they do it because people pay money for it.
There's people out doing stuff that...
Yeah, and they, because of the things that were going on, they needed a labor force that was not subject to union rules. And clones, since they are not considered legal people, don't have any rights. You know,
They're not in the union. They don't
never-
start out in the union.
Yeah,
So it has things that are in real life, or conceivably can be, because there can be a clone. We think there can be a clone people. And so the book kind of suspends that disbelief. And
yeah. Anyway, Scarlett, the old lady, dies, and Scarlett's turned back to the clone farm that bred her, and her husband was also a clone. He and his group were raised to fight in cage fights, which was televised cage fights, that people bet on them, they get money, they don't have to worry about safety rules, they kill somebody, well, so what, it's a clone. So, but anyway, he and his group had escaped, and they were going to take her with them, but the old lady died before that could happen, so she didn't get a chance to get away. So she went back to the clone farm, and when she was at the clone farm, the people in this book helped her escape. And they let her go, and this is her story in this one.
And that's one, Cloned Ambition. They all sound fascinating. And does one kind of lead right into the next book? You have some of the same characters, and
Yes.
pulls you right into the third book?
Yeah, some of the scenes in this book are also in this one, but they are written from her point of view instead of from this point of
That's
view.
fascinating.
And it's...
You get the same scene, but now from another point of
You
view.
get another point of view on it, and you think, oh, well, that's why they did that, that type of thing. So, but they really... they have a problem with escaping clones. And there was a clone leader who was actually intended for the same kind of fate that Scarlett was, only he managed to outsmart his creator and stole his identity and took over his holdings.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, the guy made him look just like him.
Yep.
He's
He's his
him,
clone. He's his clone.
basically, So, which is a mistake on his part. Anyway, he basically blackmailed the people that created clones into financing a colony, and they went through the illegal people in Laughing Mountain to find a planet and all this kind of stuff. And this is most of it takes place on Earth. It has to do with her recruiting the people that they need to teach them how to do things, because basically the clones, they're only taught usually what they're going to use to do their job. They don't know how to cooking, farming, all this kind of stuff, and
They don't have the daily life skills they need to get by.
and they also don't have the they don't know about how a structured society works, or how our society works, and they usually get caught right away when they escape.
They stick out like a sore thumb. No doubt.
Yeah. So, but her group didn't, principally because Scarlett and Dagmar, that's his name, their owners didn't want to deal with the federal regulations for transporting clones, so they trained them to blend in with society, so they didn't look like,
Yeah.
which is kind of a backfired on them, because when they got away, they couldn't find them.
They couldn't find them, yeah.
So
Yeah, I see they're awkward, I would imagine. They don't know how to function in society, how to dress people or cross the street or cook or farm or anything, so you
Yes.
just spot them. Now, do you still have the email, webpage, Gail Daley Fine Arts?
yes,
Yeah, and if you get a chance, go there and check out Gail's art. It's incredible. It's acrylic. But your books can be found at gaildaley.com.
yes.
What else would they find at that website?
Well, actually, I have the video interviews that we've done here, there on the website. And if they buy the entire set of paperbacks, they get a discount,
Okay,
but they have to buy them as a set.
as a set.
And they can't get them from Amazon or anyplace else. They'll just have to go directly through me,
Okay.
because that's what that's the way it was
Yep.
set up to work.
It's way better for the author, by the way.
Oh, yeah, well,
Not so good for Amazon, but they're going to be
Oh.
okay on their own, I think.
yeah, I think Amazon will be just fine. They're actually doing a whole bunch of really weird things with authors, and every time they turn around, it's like, well, when did they start doing that?
A new rule, a new thing.
Yeah. So it's still a good place to buy books. I buy for my personal reading, I buy from Amazon almost exclusively. Although I do when I distribute, I use what they call a wide distributor. So these books actually will go out through Kobo and through iBooks and Nook and all those type of things too. So
So do those like Kindle versions exist on these? Yeah, you can get them. I've not done that yet. I have the pad, the tablet. I just got to get my first book on that. I love to hold and read a book. I read for an hour every. Oh my gosh, look how big the print is. I can see it. It's so clear, Gail. That's really nice.
well, I use when I do my books, that I use a font called Annadale Mono or something like that, and I use it because it is bigger print.
Yeah, and it's so clear and concise.
Yeah.
I can read almost half a page at a time. I read really, really fast.
Yeah, I do too.
So let me say this, Gail, that today is November 8th, so some people see this show a year from now, but it's November 8th, 2023. Thanksgiving's coming up. Christmas is coming up. What do you give people? I've learned the best gift is a book. Otherwise, you get them a little knick-knack or a new necktie or something. If you give somebody a book, they're going to have that book in a year or 2 years or 3 years. You don't just read them and throw them away. And they'll always remember the books from you. So I would say this, go to gaildaley.com, gaildaley.com, and get the 3. But don't just buy the 3. Get like 5 different sets, because you're going to have Christmas gifts. People are going to show up. Oh, I forgot to get a gift for that person. Or you're going to go to somebody's house for a dinner or a party, and you always want to take a host gift.
Yes.
So get the books. Buy 5 of each book. Is that a good plan?
Oh, yeah.
And if you're watching this after 2023, you can still go buy a stack of books. So I send my kids, when they go to kids' birthday parties, I send them with the book. That's the gift you're taking. Oh, Dad, we don't want to take a book, but I think it's a fun idea.
Well, it's a fine idea, and it encourages reading. And I happen to think reading is one of the most important skills, because when you read, you don't just enjoy the story, you also expose yourself to vocabulary and to different ideas and things that stretch your mind and whatever, and it makes you, oh, really, I would never have considered that, And when I created these clones, the status of them is, well, it's pitiful, really, because they don't, the Earth government does not give them rights, and if somebody was planning on doing like what they were going to do to Scarlet here in this book, there was no legal recourse. That,
Clones had no recourse.
yeah.
Are there parallels to things that happened in history of the United States?
Yes,
or the world?
there's parallels to the slave trades, and as far as that goes. As a matter of fact, I drew very heavily on the way slaves were treated when I when I created the clone world.
Yeah. That's,
And the interesting thing about this is this book right here, the three triplets were often they were once accused of being clones. What happened to them was that their mother took a fertility drug because she was having trouble holding a pregnancy, and they had, she had the three.
they look just alike, so they
Yeah.
must be clones.
Yeah, and they weren't, but they once had a clone company come into Laughing Mountain and try to take them all,
Take 'em.
or reclaim them as they belong to us. The doctor that their mother saw also worked for the clone company, which was kind of a little thing there. She did help people on the side, but she also worked for them. So that was where they got the idea that they could belong to them.
We're way past time. I always go over with you because you're so fascinating to talk to.
sorry.
Where this stuff comes into your head, I can't even imagine because it's stuff that doesn't exist.
It just happens. You think you see something on a TV show, and you think, oh, well, now that's interesting. What would happen if, and then you find you can use that, and the thing that can happen with people too happens that way.
Go to GailDaley.com. Also go to Gail Daley Fine Arts. We're not here to talk about that today, but I love to go to that site and poke around. But just GailDaley.com, find out about the books. Maybe there's more stuff on there on the website.
There's more stuff on the art site.
On the art site?
Yeah, I sell prints through a thing called Fine Art America, and they sell prints and decor items that they use my paintings as a basis for. And you go in there and you click on that, and it takes you to Fine Art America site, which they can buy any painting. And they have duvet covers, they have tote bags, they have all kinds of different items that basically has one of those.
Now, I think that's Gail Daley's Fine Art.
Fine art, yes.
Fine Arts or Fine Art?
Fine art.
Gail Daley's Fine Art. But GailDaley.com, check out the books. We'll be back with more authors in a few minutes, so please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.